I think this is not, I'll check it. I'll also show you some premium apps, how it will be like. So for premium apps, we usually pay for license and yeah, Splunk Essentials for cloud. I don't think so. Okay, I'll type Splunk PCI. Oh yeah, Splunk app for PCI compliance. This is one of the app where it will not show for download. Log into download. I'll show you how it will be like. See, if you see here, for every app here we'll get an option to download. But for some of the applications which are called premium applications in Splunk, we will not have download option. Contact sales. That means we need to pay for some license to install this application. There are many premium applications like ITSI, Splunk Enterprise, this PCI, Phantom. These are all the separate applications, and also where we need special training on those applications to work on.
Are they because they're developed by Splunk? That's why they sell them. They don't offer them for free.
Yeah, every app is developed by Splunk only, but some of the applications I think they'll take help of some other vendors. I'm not sure. So that is the reason they are asking us to pay.
Okay. Makes sense. But
Yeah,
otherwise they offer them for free? Like
okay. Everything is free.
Okay.
Most of the applications. And if you see here, Windows specific inputs. So usually for Windows, for example, okay, I'll explain here only. Windows OS maintains much of its state data, logs, etc. in binary format. Windows provides APIs that enable. Splunk provides special input types. All other inputs are also supported. Data can forward. Splunk can run on any domain without local administrative privileges. So what is happening is like, if you see here, this is nothing but it is showing the universal forwarder install shield wizard. Here if you see, Splunk can use Windows remote protocols, like if you want to log into some specific Windows server. So usually for Linux, how we'll log in means, I think you have, do you have an idea how we'll log in into Linux?
Yeah, you log in like with the login
With PuTTY.
Yeah. Yeah, PuTTY, or we can, I prefer another tool called MobiBox.
Okay.
It's very kind of a little bit advanced than PuTTY, but PuTTY is also good.
Okay. So Linux through PuTTY it is easy, and also for Windows we need to log in through some remote machines. We should have remote VDI, and then we'll be connecting. Have you ever logged into a Windows machine?
Yeah.
Okay. So and no need to show. So if you want to log in like that, we'll be having some windows popped up. I'll show you if there is anything down. No. So usually there will be a remote desktop for Windows machines to log in, and then we can log in through some username or with domain name, so that we'll logged into that specific Windows machine where Universal Forwarder is installed. So mainly we are talking about Windows machine where the UF is installed, Universal Forwarder. So you can also have an advantage is like, for example, in lower environments, you are trying to test some props.configuration files. So what you are doing, you are taking the sample file and you are ingesting that into Splunk, and then you are writing some props configurations, and you are testing the data, how it is breaking, how the fields were extracting, etc. But when you are having access, mostly you'll not be having access to Windows Universal Forwarders if they are from third party. For example, if they are from some different organizations or from a different application team. So what they'll do, they'll not provide you access. But when they provide you access on some test Windows server, then at that time what you can do, you can directly log into that specific server, and you can select the logs, what all the logs are required in your Splunk, and then you can write the props.configuration file directly there. If you are writing there and if you are restarting the service, the logs will be coming onto Splunk directly.
Okay.
Because UF is already installed, and UF, it is already connecting to our deployment server.
Okay.
So if it is again the test server, in the outputs you will be giving the test server details. All other input types are also supported. So what all the input types are supported also, here he has given event log, performance. For event logs consumes data from the Windows OS logs. So it depends upon the OS logs. And performance, so performance, it will show us how much CPU is utilized and how much memory it is showing. Everything will be coming in performance logs. In Splunk, as I have shown you, Splunk TA Windows. So if you are trying to monitor the Windows server logs, then you can install Splunk TA Windows add-on directly, and you'll get different logs like this. Different logs can be tested because it is by default having all these input types. I'll show you. Splunk, and then etc apps. Here the Splunk TA Windows, and in the default, in props, you can see what logs can be monitored. Inputs also. In the inputs, the monitoring paths, how it will be going into, like, for example, if you see the Win event logs, everything is Win event logs, and these logs are monitored. Application logs, security logs, system logs. And there are many other different logs that are being monitored. And there are also some scripts written where it will go and the script will be executed, and it will be working on these specific script which has written, and we'll get the results. And if you see here the props, I'll try to check whether just now he has given some performance logs. So if you see here, there are some perfmon means performance logs in Splunk. If you see Splunk perfmon WMI, I'm not sure. But here, if you see, performance means performance logs, everything will be monitored. See here, the props were written in such a way, performance processor. The props were written based on this. We are getting the values in Splunk.
What is like?
Performance
What, is this? What language is this? Shell language?
No, it is Splunk. Splunk language. Splunk only. Eval means we are extracting the fields. Eval is a command in Splunk. We are extracting something. We have written some condition. If counter in the logs, we are having the counter field. So if the counter field is equal to user time, then the value should come. Otherwise, it will be displayed with no value, null. And transforms field aliases, it is for replacing the value. We are writing a new value and we are just writing host as destination. We are replacing it, host as destination. And transforms, we are writing another configuration file, transforms.configuration file, and there we will be defining the value for performance metric store. So you can open this in transforms. And you can check whether this value is present or not. What is happening? Okay. See, this value was defined. And if you see, I have copied it from props and I have verified in transforms the value for performance metrics data. So here he has written some regex value. So whenever it is finding the pattern, it will be giving some values.
I see. Okay.
Values in Splunk. Yeah, these props and transforms are interlinked.
Okay, so this file we can take and it will like if you're if Splunk is running on a Windows machine or Linux machine will work the same way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Splunk, we are not bothered about Splunk. It can be installed on Linux or Windows. But this is some add-on where we are trying to monitor Windows servers. Where the universal forwarder, Windows servers.
Okay.
Where we are trying to monitor the Windows servers where UF is installed.
Okay, so to monitor Linux servers, is it different file that we need to install?
Yeah, yeah, we are having Splunk TA for Linux. I'll show you.
Okay.
For Nix.
But as far as the performance data, there will be the same data that we're gonna get, whether it's Windows or Linux server.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are having a Splunk add-on for Unix and Linux. That is for Splunk add-on for Windows. All the logs in Splunk TA Windows will be going on to WinEvent log, WinEvent logs index. Index is equal to WinEvent log. But here for Unix and Linux, it will go into OS index. Index is equal to OS. Yeah.
OS, yes, OS index. Okay.
These are two main applications, two main add-ons in Splunk where I feel every organization is definitely using this for getting the performance of each and every server. And these are different input types. Active Directory, it monitors the changes in Active Directory server related to some Active Directory server, and the registry monitor changes in Windows registry. Host collects data from Windows network, monitor networks, and print monitors print server activity. Everything is related to some different servers and different input types he has shown. And Windows, you know how you will be writing the inputs.configuration file. On the right side, the black box. Usually, we'll be writing with monitor. But if you are, if you want different, for example, let's take this perfmon only, the second one. We are monitoring the perfmon logs. So here he has given perfmon colon //. So I'll show you. In the inputs, it has to be there.
Hey Shiva, Jyoti, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So, do you know how Splunk is getting this performance data from the server? Is it like, what's the method using? Is it polling? Is it pinging the server? Like, how is it getting the data?
How we are getting means, the first thing, the server has to connected to our deployment server.
Okay. Okay. So, through HTTP.
No, not through HTTP. How the servers are connecting to Splunk? First, making sure the server has to be established some connection with Splunk, and then from the server, whatever the logs present in the server. So every server is having with some memory. Do you agree? If you go and log in into some Linux server, so how you'll find the memory and the CPU usage? You'll be writing some commands.
Okay. So it's through commands after the connection has been established between.
Yeah.
Okay.
Example I have given is like when you are logging, for example, you are logging into some Linux server. So in the Linux server, if you want to see some memory usage, then you'll do some free -m. So you'll be getting with some values, how much free space is left on the server. And if you click on du-sh, so disk usage, you'll be getting all the details for disk usage. So from where you are getting all this, it will be calculated from the logs and how many applications are running on your server. Based on all these things, you are getting the values, how much free space is left over, and how much the space you are utilizing for each and every application. That is a common thing happening on each and every server. But when coming to Splunk, you are installing the universal forwarder, and first you have made some connection between the third-party server and the Splunk server. And from there, what you are doing now, you are writing something like this. You are writing some monitoring paths like this. So what it will do? Now your server will identify that, okay, this is something, the CPU we are requesting, the CPU usage, or the how much the memory it is utilizing. So based on this, anyhow, every server, either it may be Unix or Linux, the logs will be generating continuously based on the applications which are running. So from the logs, it will be now calculating the processor time, user time, privilege time. Everything you can see in your logs. So depending upon the logs and depending upon my inputs.configuration file, it will take all the information. And it will take all the information and it will be providing the values to counter now.
Okay.
So everything is interlinked based on this counter values. Again, in the props, it will be doing some calculations and it will be renaming the values.
Okay.
And then finally, you are getting all the results in Splunk. And these are the inputs.configuration file, which we are seeing for different things which we want to monitor. Admon, performance, win event log, win host mon, winnet. There are different monitoring paths.
Okay.
Configure inputs during the Windows Forwarder installation. So before installing this Windows Universal Forwarder only, you can configure all the inputs. If you see here, it is showing with some dialog box. or with some checkboxes. So what all the locks you want while installing the Windows Server itself. So you can tick on this and you can get them installed on Splunk. While you can configure Windows inputs manually, Splunk recommends that you prepare the stanza using. Okay, so when you are clicking on this, he is asking us to create some inputs.configuration file through WebUI because it is easy to mistype the values for event log channels.
Okay.
See now how we need to create through UI. He is showing us, and using the manager UI. So you'll need to click on the settings, data inputs, and on the left side, along with files, directory, TCP, UDP, you're also having log event logs, local event logs. So if you click on it, here it will be showing what all the logs you want to monitor. In the Windows, we are having these different types of logs that can be nested in Splunk, the Windows servers. So here he has selected some security logs that has to be ingested. So now win event logs security checkpoint interval 5. So for every 5 seconds it will be monitored, and start from oldest. So whatever the old data is there, everything has to be coming onto Splunk. Current only after this start from, that means it is starting from the old data and it will be continuously monitoring the current data. Current only is equal to 0. Here in Splunk, 0 means enabled. Windows input configuration options. Now you see. Previously we have selected this win event log security.